The number one gut health trick proven to stop bloating naturally. If you're constantly feeling bloated after meals, your stomach is sticking out, the pants are feeling tight, and you feel uncomfortable from all that pressure, I'm gonna show you exactly how to stop that today. And no, I'm not gonna tell you about a detox tea or probiotics. I'm going to give you the proven strategies that's backed by the largest scientific studies ever done on bloating. One of them will give you relief today. Another one will work in 2 to 4 weeks. And the third one is ranked as the number one research for eliminating bloating long term. And at the end of the video, you'll know which one matches your exact type of bloating. So let's get into it. Now picture this. This is probably what's happening. You wake up fine, stomach flat, lunchtime arrives, and you want to unbutton your pants, and then by dinner, you look 6 months pregnant. The stomach is tight, it's distended, and it's even painful. And you've tried everything by now. You cut out gluten, you cut out the dairy-free products, and then you even bought the probiotics. And maybe that helped a little bit, maybe a day or two. And then you're right back to square one. So here's what's happening. Bloating isn't just one problem. It has different causes for different people. And there's actually a massive 2023 study in gastroenterology. It analyzed over 51,000 people across 26 countries. And it found that nearly 18% of people globally experience bloating at least once per week. This is even more interesting. Women are twice as likely as men to have it. But here's what matters. Bloating comes from different mechanisms. For some, it's gut sensitivity. You feel the bloating without the excess gas. For others, it's poor gas handling. The gas gets trapped. And for many, it's your gut bacteria imbalanced, and that gut bacteria is producing excess gas. And for some, it's also specific foods that are fermenting in your gut. And that's why I'm gonna give you 3 strategies to match the solution of your cause, and that will actually help you get results that last. So strategy number 1, start eating slowly and chew thoroughly. So let's start with the simplest one that works for almost all people. This sounds boring, but it's just like when I gave you guys the advice of walking 3 years ago. Simple, but the most effective. This is the one that can reduce bloating today. When you eat too fast, you're swallowing air, and that air fills up your stomach, your intestines, and that causes instant bloating. And this is a common occurrence with people dieting, because when you're really hungry, all you want to do is eat. Right? If people say, man, you inhaled your meal, you literally did. And on top of that, when you don't chew your food properly, you send large, undigested particles into your stomach. Your stomach doesn't have teeth. So those particles sit there, it's fermenting, it's trying to break down, producing gas and causing bloating. A lot of that digestion was supposed to happen in your mouth through mechanical digestion versus the chemical digestion happening in your gut. The solution, and I have to do this myself sometimes, is chew your food 20 to 30 times per bite. I know that sounds excessive, but research shows that proper chewing prevents air swallowing. It breaks down the food so your stomach can digest it more efficiently. It activates your digestive enzymes in your saliva, and it also reduces bacterial fermentation in your gut. And what I like doing is, let's say I'm eating my favorite chicken wrap meal. I'll take a bite, and on the first one, I'll actually count 20 chews, and essentially, it sets the pace for my eating. On my second bite, I'll count 20 chews again. And then I know, okay, this is the pace I should eat at. Then I don't count the rest because I know like how long it should take. And this alone can reduce your bloating by 20 to 30% in most people. So here's how to do it. Put your phone down, turn the TV off, or at least don't play anything, and then take the first bite and then count the chews. Like just acknowledge your food, look at it, and yes, count first. Put your fork down between bites. Take at least 15 to 20 minutes per meal. And this is a pro tip. Start with just 1 meal a day. Make dinner your mindful eating meal. And once it becomes a habit, expand to the other meals. And this works for everyone because it addresses a universal cause: eating too fast and swallowing air. Strategy number 2, peppermint oil. So if eating slowly helps, but it doesn't completely eliminate your bloating, this is the next strategy, which is peppermint oil, also known as enteric-coated peppermint oil. This is one of the most researched natural remedies for bloating, and the evidence on this one is so strong. 2020 systemic review, and it's a meta-analysis published in Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics, and it analyzed 10 randomized control trials with over 1,000 patients, and this was the result. Peppermint oil was 2.39 times more effective than placebo for improving irritable bowel syndrome, IBS symptoms. For abdominal pain, it significantly reduced symptoms. The number needed to treat was just 3 to 4, meaning only 3 to 4 needed to take it for one person to get complete relief, and that's extremely effective. So what's the mechanism behind this peppermint oil? So peppermint oil contains something called L-menthol, which blocks calcium channels in smooth muscle. This relaxes your intestinal muscles and it also reduces cramping. It also has anti-inflammatory effects and antimicrobial properties that help balance your gut bacteria. The key here is getting enteric-coated peppermint oil. Now, regular peppermint oil dissolves in your stomach and can cause heartburn, but the enteric-coated capsules pass through your stomach intact and then releases in your small intestine where you actually need it. So this is the recommended dosage: 0.2 to 0.4 milliliters of peppermint oil, enteric-coated that is, taken 2 to 3 times per day, 30 minutes before a meal. So the common brands includes IB Guard in the US or Peppermint in the UK, and most people see the results effective in 2 to 4 weeks. Side effects may be generally mild. Some people can get heartburn or this minty taste after. Rarely allergic reactions. This works best for people with IBS related bloating, but cramping and abdominal pain can be seen. So if eating slowly helps, but it doesn't completely solve your bloating, peppermint oil may be the next step. But let's move into strategy number 3, low FODMAP diet. So this is the big one. If you've tried eating slowly, you tried the peppermint oil and you're still bloated, especially if your bloating is triggered by specific foods like the breads, dairy, onions, the garlic, this one's for you. The low FODMAP diet. So let me be upfront. This is the most restrictive strategy, but it's ranked the #1 largest based off of research. There's a 2021 study, it's a meta-analysis, and it was published in Gut, and it compared every dietary intervention for IBS. The result? The low FODMAP diet ranked first for abdominal bloating and distension severity. It was superior to every other dietary intervention that was tested. But this is the honest truth. It works for about 60 to 70% of the people who have IBS related bloating. So if your bloating isn't food related, it might not be your answer. So you may be asking, what is FODMAP in the first place? It stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polysaccharides, right? These are short chain carbohydrates that are poorly absorbed in your small intestine. It draws water into your intestines and it gets fermented by gut bacteria, producing this gas. So this total combination creates dissension and it changes the bowel habits. So high FODMAP foods are these ones: wheat, rye, barley, dairy products, beans, legumes, garlic, onions, apples, pears, watermelon, cauliflower, mushrooms, and artificial sweeteners. Low FODMAP alternatives includes rice, oats, quinoa, not quinoa, lactose-free dairy, carrots, zucchini, spinach, potatoes, raspberries, oranges, fish, chicken, eggs, and tofu. So this is the critical part that most people get wrong. The low FODMAP diet is not meant to be permanent. It's a 3-phase process. So this is phase number 1, elimination for about 4 to 6 weeks. Strictly avoid the high FODMAP foods. This will give your gut a break and bloating can improve significantly. Phase 2 is reintroducing certain foods in 6 to 8 weeks. So we want to systemically introduce one FODMAP group at a time. And then you want to essentially test your tolerance to each food. This is like a process of elimination. And then you want to see, okay, this is exactly what triggers it. And phase 3 is more so personalization, where you create a personalized diet based on what you learned, what you're likely to tolerate with high FODMAP foods, and then avoid the ones that you notice this triggers me. And you may be asking, okay, Dr. Mike, why does this matter? If you stay on a strict low FODMAP diet forever, research shows that it can reduce the beneficial gut bacteria, especially the one called bifidobacterium, by up to 25%. And it can also lead to nutritional deficiencies and decrease dietary diversity, which is bad for long-term gut health. So this is my recommendation. If you want to try the low FODMAP, work with a registered dietitian who specializes in digestive health. We also have functional doctors at Sculpt by Science, and we do this for a lot of our clients. They can guide you, and we can guide you through all of those 3 phases properly, ensure that you're getting the right nutrition, help you identify these triggers, and then create a sustainable, personalized plan. So if you want to work with me and my team, it's the first link in the description. You can fill out the application, and if you feel like you're a good fit, you'll be able to book a call and speak to one of my doctors. So here's an example. There's a client I worked with, and he tried everything for 5 years and nothing worked. And then we finally said, okay, let's try the low FODMAP protocol. And in 6 weeks, bloating 80% better. And here's the key. He went through all 3 phases, and then we slowly reintroduced the foods. And he found what he could tolerate most, but what he couldn't tolerate was onions and wheat. Now, perfectly normal. Varied diet, eats what he wants, it just avoids those 2 triggers. So these are strategies that I recommend for you. Regardless of which main strategy you use, these will all help you maximize results. So the first, hydration. Your gut needs water to move things along, and dehydration can slow down digestion. It can cause your food to sit in your gut for longer and to be gassy. I recommend drinking half of your body weight in ounces daily. And that's fluid ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, you should drink 75 ounces, fluid ounces. Drink a large glass first thing in the morning to help kickstart your digestion. Second is movement. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of a walk after a meal can make a significant difference, because gentle movement can help the trapped gas pass through more easily. Third, avoid those bloating triggers. The carbonated beverages, those bubbles can add directly to your digestive tract. Avoid the artificial sweeteners. I'm talking about sorbitol, the mannitol, xylitol, and these cause bloating. That's in the chewing gums. Eat slowly at night, and make sure that after a meal you don't go and lay down directly. And I also want to give this advice when to see a doctor. Now, functional bloating is uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous. But sometimes bloating can signal something even more serious. So I highly recommend see a doctor if you're experiencing sudden severe bloating that's just not going away. Bloating with unexplained weight loss, maybe you're seeing blood in stool, or persistent vomiting or nausea, or severe abdominal pain, and bloating that maybe started after the age of 50, or changes in your bowel habits lasting more than a couple of weeks. These could indicate major gut health issues, so don't ignore it. Please go see your doctor. So this is an action plan I want you guys to put together step by step. Week 1, start with strategy number 1. Everyone should start here. Eat slowly, at least 20 chews per bite. If you can, drink more. Drink half of your body weight in fluid ounces. After a meal, walk 10 to 15 minutes, and then avoid the carbonated drinks and artificial sweetener. Track your symptoms. Rate your bloating on 1 to 10 each day. If this is reducing your bloating by 50% or more, you found your solution. If it doesn't help completely eliminate the bloating, move to strategy 2. Week 3 to 6, I want you to add strategy number 2 if needed. Get the enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules. Take 0.2 to 0.4 mLs 2 to 3 times per day, 30 minutes before a meal, and continue eating slowly and staying hydrated. Give this 2 to 4 weeks to work. Track your symptoms, and most people see significant improvement by week 4. If this eliminates your bloating, you're done. If you're still bloated, especially after specific foods, now we want to consider strategy 3. By week 7, consider strategy 3 if needed. So if food trigger bloating persists, find a registered dietitian in digestive health, or with us, try a low FODMAP elimination diet for 4 to 6 weeks, and systemically reintroduce foods from week 6 to 8 and create a personalized plan. Don't do this alone. Please get professional guidance. So this is the bottom line. Bloating doesn't have to be frustrating, but it's not something that you have to live with. And research is clear. These 3 strategies work. Now, I want to know from you guys, what type of bloating do you think you have? have? Is it the first one, second one, or third one? Is it triggered by specific foods? Is it the bread or dairy, or is it maybe by the way you're eating? I would love to know in the comments below. If you found it helpful, subscribe, hit the video with a gentle thumbs up. If you want me to share more of the science-backed strategies every week, I am happy to. And if you want to take your transformation to the next level, I highly recommend you watch this video next. It has all the information you need. Some people are saying it's the best video I've made in 2026. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.